Herculez, this week we are celebrating 15 years since David Beckham making his debut for the Los Angeles Galaxy. He actually did it in a friendly against Chelsea. I think it was kind of like one of those where were you when moments. What do you remember about David Beckham's debut?
Well, let me give you some context, okay? 2006, the LA Galaxy, for the first time in its history, that's 10 years, did not make the playoffs. They did everything they could to implode the team. Your boy, who was part of the Galaxy, goes to the rebranded Colorado Rapids. Guess who comes in? David Beckham. So I missed all that circus. I missed everything that was David Beckham in LA that first year. But I still had eyes and ears on the ground, all my boys back in that locker room, and I will tell you this. I have never seen Major League Soccer turned upside down like when David Beckham came. I have never heard more stories about the attention, never seen more things like late night TV. If you thought Zlatan was crazy, if you thought Zlatan being on Jimmy Kimmel, being on all those shows was something else, David Beckham invented all that. That's what I remember. I remember the fanfare. That's the first thing I remember.
The gap, too, between Beckham and some of his teammates seemed just so stark. You'll remember some of the salaries in Major League Soccer back in the day, especially in that era. And you remember what David Beckham was reportedly going to make. Remember, it was $250 million over 5 years. We know a lot of that ended up being probably Adidas money, but still, in the end, I remember just thinking, man, how is a locker room going to accept the guy who makes more than everybody else in that locker room combined? I don't actually remember so well the debut against Chelsea. I remember, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks later, his actual league debut. It happened to come against DC United. And I remember there was like 46,000 people, basically a sellout at RFK at that time in terms of what the capacity of the stadium was. And you just got the sense that wherever this guy went, he was going to bring crowds, he was going to get ratings on television. And it really was, in a lot of ways, I think still the high watermark in terms of MLS's relevance, not to the soccer world, Herc, but to like mainstream America. Am I too far off on that?
Not at all. I don't recall ever people in D.C. showing up, people in the Meadowlands in Jersey showing up. They were showing up for David Beckham. They weren't showing up for the rest of us. They were showing up for David Beckham. That's the truth. That Chelsea game, I remember him being injured. His bum ankle, the injured ankle. Will he play? Will he not play? And he played. Probably should have not played. Under regular circumstances, you can't play. But the attention was so crazy. The sponsors were so ready to get him out there. He had to play. And that's why the first year didn't go well. That's why that year was a circus. But I agree with you. In terms of casuals, in terms of people who don't tune into domestic soccer here in the States, it was at an all-time high.
Yeah, the only other name that I can think of that for the casual sports fan, non-soccer fan, grabbed people's attention, and this might upset some folks, was Freddie Adu. Freddie Adu got people to go to stadiums, and he also got people to turn on TVs for Major League Soccer in a way that they haven't really done since, outside of the exception maybe of the David Beckham days, the big games early on in his tenure when people were really excited to see him in the league. Let's fast forward to the present day.
What's wrong with you?
What do you mean what's wrong with me? A lot of things.
What's wrong with you?
Instant.
I'm talking about the man who changed Major League Soccer forever, the man who created the DP position. If not for him, this league would probably be bankrupt, would be defunct, and you're bringing up Freddie Adu? You're putting him in the same light as Freddie Adu?
Go back and check the television ratings on Freddie Adu's debut. Actually, compare him to David Beckham's. As I recall, there was a disappointment over the ratings on Beckham's debut, given all the fanfare that had been before that debut. I think it got less than 1 million viewers. So Beckham was a big draw, but don't hate on my guy. Don't hate on my DC guy, Freddie Adu. Hey, real quick, who's the next David Beckham for MLS? Because we just kind of acknowledged we haven't really had anybody on that level since. Who is it for you? And I know there's only 2 names, so you got to pick one.
There's only 2 names. There is only 2 names. But if you're going to go David Beckham, you got to go everything that is David Beckham. Not only on field what he can produce, but what can he do for you off the field? And there's only one player today that can produce that kind of fanfare, positive and negative, off the field. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo will model, Cristiano Ronaldo will act, Cristiano Ronaldo will do the late night scene, Cristiano Ronaldo will do everything. Cristiano Ronaldo captivates the world. Good or bad, captivates the world. He don't want to play United, but they don't want him. Ooh, they don't want him. Ooh, they don't want him. Ooh. Everything revolves around Cristiano Ronaldo off the field. That's the way it goes. And if you want somebody David Beckham type, that's the route to go.
There you go. Herculez Gomez says Major League Soccer should go out and get Cristiano Ronaldo. I say go get Lionel Messi. I think it's easier, and I bet Herc he will be here before you know it.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.